So it's coming on Easter, and Easter is usually a traditional religious holiday. We think of Jesus and the crucifixion, but it is a time that you get a bunch of time off, and it's a beautiful time of the year. So what's a non-dual or spiritual gal gonna do? So let's talk about some ways that you can celebrate this coming holiday in a non-dual tradition, or maybe a little more spiritual tradition. So, funny story. A number of years ago, when I first was walking in the world with no mind, so right after my mind blew a fuse, this interesting time of year would show up, and one day I would wake up with the most extraordinary grief, and I would just be crying and crying and crying my eyes out. And like the whole day I was like inconsolable for no reason, or no direct reason. And at some point in the day, somebody would mention that it was Easter, and I would feel like, oh, and somehow it made sense. So, and this would go year after year after year. It was very funny. So clearly, me and the old man there had a past together. But these days, it's a little bit different, and I know Easter is coming up ahead of time, and I do love to celebrate. I too get the time off work. It's a time when family and friends are gathering, and there's a lot of really kind of sweet things about this time of year. So let's go through it. So first of all, let's celebrate with eggs, because chocolate eggs are fantastic. And same with coloring eggs and playing with eggs. And eggs, of course, are symbolizing new birth and the new beginning. And it's a really fun tradition, something you probably remember as a kid, or something you do with your kids. But when we're looking at this time of year, which is spring in the Western Hemisphere, and things are beginning to shift and change, and seeds are opening, and we're starting to see, it's a really good time to celebrate new beginnings. And eggs is the perfect symbol for that. And, you know, it's fun to color. It's fun to color those eggs. Secondly, shamrocks. Yep, shamrocks are not just for St. Patrick's, because it is a beautiful symbol of the Trinity, which is actually what the Druids always celebrate this time of year, which is the spring equinox time. With that little shamrock, that beautiful three-sided clover is representing, in, of course, more religious context, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, but we can extract that Trinity, which is really just the cycles of our life. It's the maiden, it's the mother, and the crone. It's the earth, it's heaven, and it's the skies. So we have these cycles in our lives, and the shamrocks and that shape of the shamrock is a really sweet way to play with that. So whether it's in your part of the world, those clovers are beginning to pop through, and you can do a lovely walk and go pull some of those from the ground, or if it's just making the shapes of it or playing with your kids in that shape. It's a really lovely symbol of the cycles and the new cycle beginning. Also, of course, in the more religious sense of this holiday, we think of the crucifixion. Well, in the part of the world where I'm from, which is way, way up north, this time of year, the snow is just beginning to melt enough that all of the crap that was sitting under there, like the dog poo and the yellow snow and all that, starts to come up to the surface. And it's also true of your soul. You may feel that the crap of your soul is surfacing this time of year. Everything that's settled over the winter time is now beginning to lift up, and you may find yourself butting up against those familiar patterns. Maybe there's some challenges, maybe there's some anxieties or panic attacks moving through you. Any scope of just old crap that's still hanging out in our system. And we're going to get some time off this holiday season, so why not clear a whole day and just allow yourself a little bit of downtime to take some healing and to bring the pooper scooper of your soul out. And really what that means is just bring some compassion and some love and support down to those places where it's hurting, where you're noticing these patterns, and see if you can't bring some spaciousness and some time to allow for some insight and some clarity and help unwind some of the stuff. So we don't need to harken back to the crucifixion. We ourselves are being crucified all the time, and it's a really great time to honor and support and give yourself some healing. Fourth, also, of course, with this tradition, we have the resurrection. And really, this is a time of year where there's a lot of visions and new dreams, and kind of forward thinking starts to stir in our soul. we start to get these beautiful ideas and creative inspirations. They start to come to the surface. They're beginning, just in the same way that new buds and new seeds are just beginning to make their way through the soil. That's happening for you as well. So again, we got some time off. Why not take some time to really honor and listen to some of these new visions and these inspirations? It's really a juicy, fun time of the year, and spring is that time where there's just this possibility opening in front of us. And you, which are an essential part of nature, also have that. And then lastly, number 5, food, friends, and family. Obviously, this is a great way to celebrate, and obviously it's an important part of ritual, which is just to get your loved ones together and enjoy a meal together. And if you have a traditional Easter feast, there's no need to miss that. Whether it's a brunch or a picnic or an evening meal, but just gathering together with the people that you love. And if we're going to celebrate it in the more spiritual or non-dual way, perhaps we're going to have all kinds of lovely spring things on the menu. All the new greens that are coming up this time of year, beautiful salads. I make an amazing stew out of a beautiful green elixir of stuff that's really quite renowned and delicious. So let your menu reflect this new birth, new beginning, new movements and new visions. And certainly take the time around the table to get everyone to share some of their goals and aspirations and what they're looking forward to and what are the things that they're finding themselves dreaming about, to just help support and share that visions. So just because it is Easter doesn't mean you need to celebrate Jesus and his following. You can absolutely take the time and celebrate, especially if you're not the type to wake up bawling your eyes out because it's some special day.